allegiance.
Orchlands.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
But yeah, I had to go get
Flowers. I was getting important things like a welder.
Jay?
I spent more money.
Morning, Jay.
I spent $240 on the plans.
I spent $600 on a
Yeah,
welder.
no. You beat me.
Like that's a big contest.
Because I was in there when Sarah Christensen was checking out.
Okay.
I was
See,
right
never did
behind
see
you.
You in there with your husband or just by yourself?
I said, I don't take him out. You never trust that
Well,
kid.
not when you're buying
He'll
flowers.
be
He's
licking.
not going when you're
He'll
buying.
be licking stuff and just keep him home. Just kidding. Just kidding. No, he doesn't do that.
A handrail liquor.
Thank God we're not on camera because he'd be like, Christy! No, he didn't want to go. He don't like people, so he doesn't like to get out. Phone on silent.
Where's our little official clock? Oh, you got it. Okay.
I'm using the cell phone right here in front of me.
It's a lot more accurate than our little official clock was.
Well, I don't know. Mine is not that all that accurate, I don't think. Anyway, I show 9 o'clock. I'm gonna open the meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Kiowa County. First thing we need to do is approve the consent agenda.
I so move. I read the
Second.
minutes. I didn't see nothing wrong with them.
I didn't see
Neither.
anything wrong with it. Been moved and second, we accept the consent agenda. Is there any more discussion on this? If not, those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed, same sign. Okay. I guess this is Board of Health meeting. I'm gonna close the commission meeting. We'll open up the Board of Health meeting.
All right. Good morning.
Morning, Jerry.
Thank you.
You're welcome. English word here. You're welcome. All right. So, hard to believe that the last time we met for my regularly scheduled monthly report that we were still planning on continuing with the health fair. And here we are
Yep.
for the next month's meeting and look at all that's happened. So here we are. So start with the COVID-19 updates. As of yesterday morning, April 19th, the state had a total number of positive identified cases of 1,849 and 92 deaths. Our neighbor to the west of us has had quite an outbreak lately over the past 2 weeks, going from one positive identified case on April 3rd to 127 on April 19th. They are now one of the top 5 counties for outbreaks in the entire state of Kansas. So it has really exploded in 2 weeks' time. So on Friday, April 17th, I sent a message out to all Kiowa County department heads with my recommendation to avoid travel to Ford County, if at all possible. I also shared that same recommendation on our Kiowa County, Kansas COVID Facebook page for Kiowa County residents. Because just as a reminder, those are only the reported and identified positive cases and does not include any of the cases that are not tested and those results that have not been, those results that are still pending. So the number is going to continue to increase. And it's likely to be much larger than is actually what is reported. So we here in Kiowa County have tested between 10 and 12 patients so far, and actually just as I was walking over here, we got the results back on the 2 that were pending over the weekend, and they were both negative as well. So
How many have you tested here?
About 12.
About 12.
What's that test involved? Is that a blood test or what are they?
It's a nasal swab.
Okay. And they just test it then? Okay.
And it goes clear back into the nasal cavity, so it's I've talked to a person that's done it, and they said it's not very comfortable because it's clear back in the nasal cavity, and to get some of that.
Well. I wouldn't have spread that around.
I know, darn me for being honest and answering your question. Yeah.
You couldn't blow your nose and get it?
No, I don't think that's how it works.
It's not going to just stay up in there, is it?
Put the swab in with a hammer. There's a
Now-
clue.
Yeah.
I was looking on the internet this morning.
Did you
They,
want
they
to
show
do it?
you can prick your finger and show. Do a test in 10 minutes. They're saying now.
Yeah, but that's the antibody test.
Yeah.
isn't it?
That's the antibody test. That's to see if you've had
Had
it
it.
or been exposed to it, not if you
Or immune
have
to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is not in the state of Kansas yet that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a different series of things that we'll be working on later on to see.
Has it been proven yet that if you have it and are over it, that you have an immunity to it? Is that
That's what they're hoping to.
they don't know that for sure? Okay.
Not yet. I mean, it's looking like it's going to be that direction, but
Nobody knows for sure.
it's still so new that they're working on that.
They're going to do a drive-through in Seward County, aren't they?
I'm not sure
Garden
what's
City.
in.
They're talking about it this morning on the news. They're going to have a drive-through testing deal.
Oh, yeah?
Something one up in either Liberal or Garden City 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah. Where they can do it check quicker, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. Of course, I don't have cable, but then Kiowa County's keeping me plenty busy. I haven't had much time to watch TV anyway, so.
I seen it on the internet or TV1 this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't had that need yet. Like I said, all of our tests have come back negative, but with our neighbor blowing up like this, we just need to be more diligent than ever.
There's a lot of Ford County people come through here.
A lot of people work in Ford County. A lot of people travel through.
Yeah.
Yep,
We have
absolutely.
people here who work here who live in Ford County. We have the I guess to be quite blunt and just ask the question, is it realistic to expect that there's any way that we will stay immune from what's going on over in Ford County?
No,
Okay.
Bound to get here.
no. I don't foresee it. If you look at our other neighboring counties having 1 to 2 cases, I mean, that's something that's somewhat understandable. When you see an outbreak like this, and if you followed what has happened up in the northeast part of Kansas and how that's trickled to the counties outside of it, that's a really hard thing to contain.
Okay.
And also seeing how the plants have made the decision, the beef plants have made the decision that they're going to continue to remain open. I think we're going to continue to see the outbreaks.
What's Finney County look like? Have you heard?
I don't have that in front of me, but I can sure find out and let
Okay,
you know.
it doesn't make a difference. I just wondered they have packing plants too, so
Yeah.
I just wondered.
I think my
think they've had an
recollection, Finney
outbreak.
County's somewhere around 20. The nice thing Finney has that we don't have, even though we both border, well, I guess technically they have gray in between them and Ford, but the advantage they have that we don't have is Finney and Ford have some crossover, but not nearly the amount of crossover as we have, because Finney has all their own shopping. There's not as many people who drive from Garden City to Ford County to work, and yeah.
Yep, this one's definitely got us a little bit more nervous. So, just trying to reiterate, the staying at home and good hand washing and things like that. So, Governor Laura Kelly did extend the stay-at-home order until May 3rd. It was a 2-week extension. I do foresee that being extended again, just because her original plan was that they would do the stay-at-home order until we started to see at least the number of positive cases start to decline, and we've not seen that yet. They've continued to just increase. So until we start to see that, I don't see us having things reopen for a while. So to plan for moving forward with county operations and looking at this pandemic is going to be ongoing for a while for the state and for our county. I guess I would ask, like, what would be the plan for reopening the county offices to the public? I know we had originally discussed looking at the end of the month.
So you're talking reopening up to public access?
To limited public access, yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think we have a balancing act there. We're gonna have to balance, allowing some people who really are must get in with the fact that it looks like, when we started this, there was the possibility, we were seeing cases growing. Now we've transitioned from things are growing, this is a good precautionary measure, to the fact of the matter is we've got our immediate neighbor, which tons of people go between, I guess, it's the 5th today. My understanding is they have the highest per capita number of cases. And probably that's going to continue to grow as things are going right now.
Correct, yeah.
Maybe we consider the idea of, giving the department heads the discretion to allow extremely limited, one at a time and only for essential needs to come in after they've been checked for temperature and those type of things. Setting up maybe see if Carrie could set up kind of a threshold panel, and then going from that, allow us to have some measure of normalcy and allowing them in while still doing our best to keep this moving forward. Because, our big fear, of course, and what we come from all of this is if we have a positive...
I know I'll see you guys again, but I at least wanted to open up that conversation and see what your thoughts were.
Could we leave it like it is to the 3rd?
Absolutely. I would recommend, like, looking at bringing the employees back, and maybe allowing the department heads to set up their own schedule as far as rotating out. I know as of right now we've just had the department heads in the offices, but I think that we need to be bringing the other employees back into the office and perhaps doing a rotation.
Or do that, or let them come back in and keep the public out for 2 more weeks.
Until Governor Kelly's orders are through? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
I think maybe what we could do as far as public access is concerned, right now the situation in Ford County is going to continue to develop. We'll see how that affects our county. Maybe we just sit on the public access until the last meeting of the month. Think about it then.
My recommendation would be that if departments are bringing their employees back, that they would just let Christy know, like, what the rotation would be of staff, just so who's going to be coming in and out, and just that they stay within their own departments. Again, that we're just keeping, so that Christy's office is staying in Christy's office, and that's it, that there's not that communal space in the hallway. That would be my recommendation as the health officer.
So one thing that popped in my head about over the weekend while we had discussed this, when you talked about the rotation, one thing that kept popping into my head is if we have a member in one of the departments that does test positive, we need to be able to continue to operate that department. But the fact of the matter is, depending on how their interactions are, because of the huge 14-day threshold, we've got a bit of an issue there in that as they interact, we could have... Christy, let's use you for example, just because it's easier to do an example. If Christy tests positive and has interacted in the last 14 days with both Jeannie and Shelley, everyone is home and the department's shut down. My thought process here that I'm going to propose to you guys is, as far as if we do, and I think there is some importance to, at least for some of the departments, to start to get some of the employees back in and doing those things, particularly for employees who can't really effectively work from home. But maybe each of the department heads taking a thought or making a plan where whoever would replace them or could at least effectively operate their office in their absence, they set up their rotation so that they never interact. So like, I guess for your office, you and Shelley should never be there at the same time. That way, if you're down, Shelley can step into your shoes. That'd be my thought process as we propose something like that, where we can do a rotation for offices that need to have people start coming back, that it's really not feasible to continue going the way we're going, but that, you know, each department have a plan set in place where whoever would step into the shoes of the department head, in the case of the department head going down, never interacts with the department head. That way, we don't run the risk of losing an entire department.
If there has to be an interaction, a simple mask would also, if there has to be an interaction,
Okay.
wearing masks would be,
A necessary step.
Yeah, a preventative measure.
I think, because I mean, my thought process, because, and Carrie, please correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding on the guidance for quarantine is even if they're wearing masks, if they've been in contact with them for, what is it, the 10 minutes?
10 minutes within 6 feet
They are required to quarantine for the 14
as
days.
precautionary. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think, you know, we set up that deal where, you know, wear a mask, keep that distance if you have to, but I mean, mitigate it as much as possible would be my thought process. And I think, I don't know, Chrissy, your office probably the best one to kind of explain. Do you think that would be feasible to have, you know, you and Shelley on a kind of a rotating deal? That way you two are never in there at the same time?
Yes, the last 3 weeks, Shelley has been working from home. She has come in a couple times to get checks from AP and stuff like that. Shelley can work 100% from home.
Okay.
If she has to come in, it can be after hours. My suggestion was to bring back Jeannie, so that way she can start doing AP, so that way it alleviates me, so that way I can start focusing on the election that's coming up. So we talked about this at a department head meeting on last week, and because my office is separate from my other girls, I can work in my office. The door can be closed between us. There's that barrier, but I would like to have Jeannie in there so that way she can do AP, and we have budgets that are due. I got a lot of stuff that's going on. I just can't do it by myself no more. So I have to have somebody in there to help.
Well, let's let her come back then,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think as long as we keep you and Shelley separated, and for the same thing for the other offices, whoever the deputy is, whoever would step in the case one's out, as long as they are separated. Yes, it would be very unfortunate if both you and Jeannie were down, but at least your office could still somewhat function if Shelley could step in. And I think that's our big concern. I think we should still encourage those offices that can have working from home to keep that going. I know the Register of Deeds office effectively been able to kind of alternate theirs, and Terry working a lot from home. I think my office probably will primarily continue to work from home. We'll be going in as necessary for things that we have to do in, but that way limiting the number of people we have in and going in, but allowing the department heads who are, admittedly, I mean, the way we set this up, we knew it wasn't a long-term solution, because there's a reason these departments have 2 or 3 people in them. I think we just need to balance it. We need to have a balancing act here of having a plan that we will be able to maintain operations even if a member of the department does test positive, but still allowing us to keep moving forward to some normalcy.
Well, we wanna just leave it in the department heads,
Let them make the call.
make that call herself.
I would encourage against it.
Do what?
I think as far as who they want to bring back, I think would be fine. I would encourage at least you guys, you know, give them the discretion to bring back what they need, but go ahead and pass a motion requiring that, if at all possible, to all degrees possible, that the department head and their deputy should not.
Work together.
Yeah, that way we have a way to continue moving forward. My fear is, I know in some of the departments that may be going on because it was just more practical, but realistically, if both the deputy and the department head were to go down, we would go from having limited availability to nothing. So.
And the whole idea of why we started this process was to keep county functions running during this whole thing. So we want to continue operations.
So I think maybe my suggestion as far as a motion would be that department heads are permitted to go ahead and, as they need, bring back employees, establishing a rotation to make sure that in the very least, the department head and their deputy do not interact and do not work at the same time unless absolutely necessary.
You think that needs to be in a motion?
I think so, because we already have an existing resolution that counters that.
Okay.
Until the end of the month.
You're talking about that right now, or are you talking about the end of the month?
That's up to you guys. I think I think the
I prefer it now.
Now, yeah.
Because I know my office, I need somebody in there now. I don't really want to wait another week and a half.
I think as long as we make that requirement that the deputies and the department heads never
work together with it. Yeah. Always keep a barrier. I'll make that motion, Christie.
I'd second.
It's moved and seconded. We go along with Shay's plan on this. Is there any more discussion on this motion? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
We can't do this in Board of Health meeting, can we?
Oh, we're still board.
That's right.
Still on Board of Health.
Mine.
We gotta wait.
I apologize, guys. I did not catch that we had not
Didn't either.
Yeah.
part it. We were still discussing our health deals.
We'll have to do that when we get out of this meeting, yeah.
Yeah, I'll finish up the rest of my Board of Health stuff. Okay, so I had previously reported that there was a shortage of masks, gloves, and hand sanitizer, some of the basic supplies that we health professionals need on a daily basis. So I did want to let you know that Ray our emergency manager, was able to secure some supplies from a resource that he had, and we were able to secure some as well. So we've been able to share with the hospital and pharmacy, Iroquois Center, Sheriff's Office, Home Again, Haviland Care Center, as well as county and city employees. So that was a really positive thing to be able to get some supplies in and then share those back out with everyone. So we're going to continue to keep working on that. The next item was grant updates. You know, April is normally a very busy month for all of us, and unfortunately our requirements for the health department don't stop just because of COVID. So we, just because we're in the middle of a pandemic, we still have all of our grant reporting due. So I did want to let you guys know that I have applied for and received a $1,000 grant from CALD to help with funding some of the extra expenses associated with COVID-19 response.
You got it from who?
CALD, with Kansas area local health departments. So, and we did already receive that check for that $1,000. We have also received a coronavirus disease supplemental funding grant award in the amount of $12,954. That's going to be dispersed in incremental amounts. Again, and that is to help fund the response efforts, our overtime, PPE, things like that we need to help mitigate the spread of this disease. And we are also in the process of applying for a Health Foundation grant that could award up to $25,000. So just working on trying to get some extra funding to come in to help cover some of those extra costs. I had also previously reported that the state formula grant could potentially be increased if it made it through the legislative process. And so I'm happy to report that that was approved, and beginning July 1st, 2020, our grant will be increased from $7,000 to $12,000. Again, just as a reminder, this is the grant that has not been increased in over 30 years. So that's a very exciting thing for us. This is the grant that helps fund the day-to-day operations of our department. So $5,000 is a whole lot of money to help out our department. So that was a very big, exciting thing. Finishing up some things from our VFC audit.
What's the VFC stand for?
VFC is Vaccines for Children. This is the program that gives us vaccine to where we can provide it to Medicaid children who do not have insurance, just to make sure that everyone in the state of Kansas gets immunized, whether they have insurance or not. In 2019, we were shipped 721 doses of vaccine, and the total valued amount of that was $47,814.05.
How many doses?
721 doses.
Oh, goodness.
It's a lot of doses of vaccine that we are given. And so the total dollar amount was just under $50,000. Then if you add the fact that if they have Medicaid, we're able to bill a $20 admin fee to that. That's an additional $14,000 for our office. So even better than that, we where did that go? We had a 1%, less than a 1% wasted fee. So only $400 of that was wasted throughout the entire year. So basically, we had 2 doses that were wasted.
Gone bad, is that what you mean?
Either gone bad or we drew it up and then we're not able to give it to the child, something of that effect. So it was a very good year. We do have a quality improvement to kind of work on getting a text reminder program set up for all of our people, so that we can send out text reminders for their appointments. And even though that's kind of mellowed out a little bit right now, that gives us time to work on setting up that program. And then last but not least, it's kind of sad, we sent out our bills for school nursing hours. You know, school's not even technically supposed to be out yet, but since our contract has officially ended with school being closed, we were able to get those bills together and send those out. And so that was kind of a sad one. Oops, excuse me. But so that is what I have for you. Any more questions?
I didn't realize vaccines was that expensive.
Vaccines are very expensive.
That's over $66 a shot.
And you realize that that's getting it at cost. If we talk about adult vaccines,
My goodness.
like a shingle shot is over $200 a pop, and that's just what our cost is.
It'll be worth it if they can come up with one for this coronavirus.
Wait till you see what that costs.
That's what I say. I'd give $56, I believe.
Yeah.
56? I'll hold you to that. You better put that in the minutes. So I guess if we want to close the Board of Health, and then we can make a motion on that, what we need to, please.
You're done?
Yes, I am, unless you had any more questions for me.
I can't think of any. So I'm gonna close the Board of Health meeting, and we'll go back in the regular commission meeting.
All right.
And your motion was to,
John's motion.
oh,
Redo that motion now.
The motion that we take the department's heads and keep them separate from the deputy department's heads and work on opposite shifts as much as possible. Totally. So if somebody gets it, you still can run your office with your deputy or your second in command. Keep them on opposite and non-contacting shifts.
I'll second that motion.
Pardon?
Beginning immediately.
also have
Begin
the-
immediately.
And the part we have on that is we had the resolution in effect before requiring that, if at all necessary, all employees other than department heads were to stay home. So I would suggest that the motion be that move to permit department heads to, at their discretion, bring back employees on the condition that the department head and their deputy should not interact, should not work here at the same time unless absolutely necessary. And in that circumstance, when absolutely necessary on a very limited basis, wear masks and maintain as much distance barrier as possible in that absolute necessity.
That's exactly what I
Beginning
That's
immediately.
exactly
Yeah,
what you said.
that's exactly what
heard
I
you say
said.
that, John.
You got that all down, Christie.
said. I just use shorthand.
Starting tomorrow.
Starting,
Starting today.
Okay.
Effective today.
Effective immediately.
starting immediately with
Effective, yeah.
Alright.
I need a second.
I did.
Thank you.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve Shay's recommendation. Is there any more discussion on this? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Now, do we need to rescind that other motion during the Board of Health meeting?
It was never.
And it was
Yeah,
recorded.
it was passed. Yeah. I guess. Do they need to?
It was just practice.
No, just not effective. That's something Board of Health can do.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Carrie, I
you.
guess.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie.
Jay, I guess we're down to you.
Oh, we did get the 2 culverts replaced south of Belvedere on the Wilmore Road, and we got the ditch work done in town and replaced a culvert and cleaned one out, so hopefully take care of some flooding issues there. Been working with half a crew one week and the other half coming in the next week, just a rotation. But if we get the moisture they're talking about Tuesday and Wednesday night, or Tuesday night and Wednesday, then there's a good chance I'll have all the blade guys coming in and hitting the roads while the moisture is there, depending on how much there is. But I've been, I clock all the guys in and clock them out, so basically nobody comes inside. I leave the door open in the quitting time, and they just put their timesheets in a box by the door. In the mornings, they all go straight to their truck or equipment, whatever it is, so nobody's really interacting with anybody. So that's been working out so far. I plan on putting an ad in the paper and sending out a couple of emails for taking bids on some asphalt work this summer. Probably try and see about sand sealing the new asphalt at Mullenville. It's been 5 years since we done the Belvedere blacktop, so see about chip sealing the Belvedere blacktop this year. And thinking probably maybe 1.5 inch overlay on the Brennan blacktop. I was looking at maybe doing city service, but that's going to put the according to last year's prices, that'll kind of put us just a little bit over budget in that area. So probably just cut back on that a little bit and either do the Brennan blacktop, probably just because it was scrub sealed the same time Belvedere was, so it actually is the 5-year rotation deal. Its time is up. And city service, it was chip sealed, be 3 years ago this summer, so it's probably why we'll do that. Possibly next year overlaying maybe not all of city service, but at least the 5 miles that are originally started with. So. And I suppose the bids at this point probably just need to be mailed in, because usually they come in.
They can drop them in the drop box. And
I
then
mean-
if they call me, I can go right out and
Okay,
receive them and stamp them.
yeah, okay. Unless we're opened up by then.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. The only other thing I've got is, I have Shay read this, it's a utility easement, and I don't think that, we have a farmer that's he needs to fix a gas line, and this gas line goes, the road's not there anymore. He said that there was a road there at one point, years and years ago. I've never known there to be a road there. I looked in all of our records that I could find, and there was no record of that road being closed. So,
Okay. So what's the details of this? This utility easement's not gonna work, but, what's the details of the situation then?
there's a gas line. Supposedly there used to be a road go through. Well, the road is no longer there, but I don't find any record of that road being closed.
Okay.
And so all he's wanting to do is go in and repair the gas line.
The utility company? Or
Well, the farmer's wanting to get that gas line repaired.
is it his gas line or a utility company's gas
Uh,
line?
I'm assuming that they put the gas line in. That's what the way I understood.
The farmer
The
did.
farmer did.
Yeah, probably
And-
from the meter to his well.
And so he's wanting the gas company to come in and to
Okay.
fix it. But
So my understanding is then the easement would need to be to the utility company that's coming in to fix it.
okay,
The easement that he drew up is not going to work. It doesn't name a grantor. It's giving the easement to the public, so literally, one, that's not really enforceable. Two, that's literally giving everyone the right to come and access that. We'll need to have specifics, either specifically him or specifically the utility company.
my question is if there at some point, if there was a road there, then the county has the right of way for the road that goes through there. And all we require is a permit. They fill out a permit if they're gonna have to do any work inside our right of way.
Yeah,
Would that be all they would have to probably do?
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
really what they're getting, the easement gives them an unfettered right to get in there and do whatever, and to do it. Whereas, just saying we'll give them a permit, that's what we usually
Yeah.
do for in our right of way, and then they can get in there. The other question I kind of have on this is you talked about the road being there, that it's never technically been vacated, but it appears there's not a road there anymore. It may be a better practice for us just to go ahead and vacate the road. If the road's vacated, then it's the landowners to do it as he pleases.
Yeah, I think that's part of the issue. It's not, he's having to go across somebody else's, this is going across somebody else's land to get to where they want to.
So if
The
you
gas
vacate-
line's going
Yeah,
across somebody else's property to get to where he needs it, to where it ends up.
Which is why he needs the utility company to do this. Then I would think the better practice would just be to let him know that you guys grant permits for working on the right of way. If the utility company is willing to do it, you're happy to grant them a permit
Okay.
to go in there.
Okay, yeah,
Because the way this easement is right now, that won't work.
okay. All right. That's all I got.
did you get any rain on the county line south?
I didn't go all the way down there this morning. I did make it over to Haviland and I went 3 miles south of town and it was pretty wet.
I had 1:15 altogether.
Is that right?
Yeah, and
Wow.
and I know I didn't catch all the hail. The
Yeah.
hail wasn't just a little strip through there, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, we up Mullenville, north of Mullenville, I was up there this morning and I think that shower we got the other night
quarter inch.
Yeah,
Yep.
was all they got. I don't think.
Yeah, that's all we got there,
Yeah.
all those quarter inch.
Yeah.
I had
So-
55 Saturday night and 65 yesterday evening.
Wow.
Ground got white with hail both times.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yep.
Crazy. Huh. Yeah.
When you get time, you might drive D Road from the Haviland Blacktop west. One of Jax's hired men was on it the other day, and they said it goes from really washboard to really sandy. And they got on a washboard deal and got sideways and hit some sand and wound up rolling their pickup.
Really?
Now he's not known to drive overly fast. I don't know, but they were complaining to me about the fact that it's the washboardy that it gets you off center and then you catch sand. And
I was down it this morning early.
On D?
Early.
on
Yeah.
D Road, what'd you think? So, okay, all right, you're the expert. I haven't.
I don't know what. I don't. Yeah. I
I
mean,
was just told to bring that up. So
Okay,
I haven't
yeah, I-
got out there to drive it.
I mean, it was dark when I drove it this morning. I was out early, but of course, it had rained too. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
Makes a big difference. But
Good enough.
I mean, yeah, that as soon as the blade guy gets out, that's D and G and 47.
Well, this has been a couple days ago. You may have bladed it since then. This has been
No,
3 or 4 or 5
He-
days ago. This happened.
yeah, he hasn't been in.
Okay.
He wasn't in this last week, so yeah. But yeah, I'm sure the rain made a huge
That probably
difference.
helped. Good
And
enough.
but yeah,
Okay, thanks.
all right.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Jay.
Matt, we've come down to you.
Take one and pass it along if you would. Just a small item for you guys today. Kind of fallout from all of the phone work we did with Haviland a month or so back. The Commons building has a building fire alarm system that's actually monitored. We pay a company to keep track of the fire alarm on there so that if alarm gets tripped 2 o'clock in the morning, they'll dial our dispatch so that we can send fire, EMS, who we need to take care of the problem before the entire building burns down. Well, the existing dialer, it's made to work with old school phone lines and is not playing very well with the emulated phone lines we get from Haviland. So after talking with the company that monitors this, they recommended going to actually a cell phone dialer. Now the difference is by code, if we have old school analog phone lines monitoring this, we're required to have 2. So we're paying for 2 phone lines to monitor this right now. With the cell phone, we only have to have 1. So actually, with that $30 a line we're paying $60 a month. That would drop to $25 per month if we switch to the cell phone dialer. Net savings of $35 a month. So if you do the math, the cost to swap this in, the parts and the labor to switch out the dialer is $966. The payback time on it is 28 months. And again, the existing dialer's been in there for 8 or 9 years. I'd expect this dialer to be in there for 8 or 9 years. I think we're going to be easily money ahead to do this, which is why I'd like to go ahead and do it. A little bit below, probably I could just go ahead and do it. It's below $1,000, but just want to run it by you, especially because I would actually like to talk to the company to look at doing the same thing here. Again, we have 2 phone lines here dedicated to this purpose, and also at Road and Bridge. They both have monitored alarm systems, just like this, the Commons building does. And we could save some more money if we were to do that. I'm hoping this company can do those locations as well. The difference is they use different hardware. We have Johnson Controls hardware here, which I'm not sure that they'll be able to work with, but hopefully I'd be able to switch all monitoring to this one company instead of paying 3 different companies to monitor 3 different buildings, but we'll see how it goes. But for now, again, Commons building, this is kind of a no-brainer, I think. Long run, we'll save some money and it'll make things simpler.
I guess I'd move we accept the bid from electronic contracting company.
I'll second that motion.
So moved and seconded, we approve the purchase of a cellular dialer system for the Commons. Is there any more discussion on this motion? If not, those all in favor signify by saying aye.
And like I said, I'll work with them and see if we might be able to adapt courthouse and road and bridge, the same system. Hopefully we can, and cut down on a number of phone lines and save some more money.
All right.
Thank you, man.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I guess we come down to you, Christie.
We are right on schedule.
The only thing I have is an appointment letter from the library board. Tracy Guttenberger's term is coming expired, and they would like you to appoint June McFadden to that position. She will serve and run the term from 2020 to 2024.
Problem with that?
She agrees to take it?
Does she know about it?
Well, guys, I would hope, since
That they got their
Cassie's
name
the
on
one
it?
that brought in the letter to me.
I would make a motion that we allow June that position.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. We appoint June McFadden to the library board. Any other discussion on this motion? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Shay, do you have anything more?
One thing, the schoolhouse sale. We don't have to move it. It's up to you guys. It's not like the tax sale that we have to, but I suspect we are going to have some trouble getting people here to bid and buy it.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. I've
On
been
May
asked
7th
whether
then.
we're.
If you guys would like to move it,
The only one you need?
we probably, I'd suggest if we do move it, we go ahead and move it a pretty,
Quite a ways down though.
probably like 2 months out, and then we, DJ put forth the idea that I think is a good one, maybe coordinating with Brown's auction for them to go ahead and they can set up an online deal that can be right there at the actual physical auction to be able to take online bids too. I think we
Can't hurt.
Huh?
It can't hurt.
No. So my thought process would be, if you guys don't have an objection, we go ahead and pick a date and move it down, or just if you guys do agree to move it, and then I can get with Chris to find a date that works with him based on approximately how far out you guys want to go, and I'll have a resolution prepared at the next meeting for you guys to pass, kind of signifying that due to this situation, we are moving the auction. The auction will be held this day at this time, and hopefully in that time frame I can also see if I can get a hold of Brown to see what he has available. But before I did that, I wanted to see if you guys were okay with moving it. I know the primary goal was, of course, that it was unnecessary county property, but so it's possible if we go forward on the May date that we may have someone buy it, but odds are there'd be more potential buyers if we can put it out a bit. But that's y'all's decision. So there's no, unlike the tax sale, there's no legal reason why we can't go forward. It's just a practicality one.
Can we make it a mail-in bid type deal?
It has to be,
Be a public auction, doesn't it?
yeah. We need to still have the public auction where people bidding. Now, that's why the idea, I think, of having the online part there with it at the same time. That way we can have in-person bids and online bids for a public auction, I think would be great. But if we go to a mail-in one, that's not really a public auction anymore. Because, I mean, they're not seeing what everyone else is bidding or those type of things. We would need to effectively publish all the results of what people bid. I would just feel more comfortable with it being a public auction.
Well, let's just move it 2 months down the road.
Do we wanna go that far?
May the 2nd, June.
Do we wanna go that far?
What do we have this thing heading?
What about a month? A month, I don't know, 2 months, I don't know.
Well, you gotta do some publications, haven't you? If you move it?
Is Brown gonna charge us, obviously, to
Yeah, they're gonna charge us something for
But
it.
I mean, is he going to do a percentage? Is he going to? He's not actually selling it because it has to be sold by the sheriff, right? He's just doing the advertisement and the online acceptance of
and this
bids.
would just, we discussed, DJ brought it up Thursday, I haven't had a chance to look into the option of it, I just wondered if you guys were amenable to that.
I hate to kick it on down the road 2 months.
Yeah, it's been too long already.
I wished I knew if there were potential buyers out there that could be brought in on the internet, because we know who's interested in it now, and there's not very many, but one of them is going to buy it if there's no other interest outside, and I can't imagine why there would be. You don't know, though. You just don't know.
Mm-mm. But we want to run it in the paper that it's off and on at another date. Probably got to run at least 2 weeks, ain't you?
Yeah, I think that's right. I'd have to
I don't
look
know,
at the
2
last one to see how many times we had to run it, but I think it is twice we have to run it. Once we pass the new resolution stating the name, that date and time of the sale. Let me see if I've got it here. I don't have it here. It'll be on my.
When will our next insurance premium be due?
We pay it yearly, and we're coming up in May to pay for everything, so which we'll just get credit back on once we sell the property.
So it's really up to you guys what you want to do. We can still go forward with the May 7th, or we can set it out a ways.
I wouldn't be totally against going ahead with it May 7th and getting it over with. I think we know who the interested parties are locally. But you want to kick it down the road?
Well, if we still in a 10 person group, it ain't gonna be good there.
I'm not sure we're going to get more than 10 people to show up
There'd be that many people there just,
just to see. There
Yeah.
might be. You're right.
you know how people go
Yeah.
go to auction just to see who's buying. You'll have 6 in Belvedere.
Yeah. Well, it'll just be done on the courthouse steps, won't it? Yeah. What do you think, Ron?
I'd just soon get it over with.
I mean, it's not like it's going to bring a huge amount of money. I don't see kicking it down the road is going to help any much financially. I guess potentially you could get another bidder, but then we're going to have an expense of having Brown do the online thing. That's going to come out of the sale of it, which is not going to be a whole lot anyway.
I really cannot tell you. I have no idea. This isn't like one of those normal properties that we could kind of guesstimate what its fair market value is. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Well, that's 17 days out when
If you guys want to think about it,
Well, I guess we could wait until the next meeting if you want to check with Brown between now and then and find out what he thinks and what he would charge us to do that. Might make a difference.
I will check with him and see what
And we would have time at the next meeting to kick it down the.
what we could do is if you guys want to think about this until the 30th, contemplate what you guys want to do. I'll check with Brown, see if I can find out how much he would charge us to do that, and can come back with those numbers. And if you guys do decide to do that, then we can pick a date and we have a meeting again in 3 days after that where I can have a resolution prepared for you guys to execute at that point.
I'd be good with that. Let's do it next meeting.
Yeah, rather than delay it than right now, I'd rather do that.
Yeah. And I mean, even if we decide to kick it on down the road at next meeting that's only 7 days out, there's 3 people that I know that are interested in. I can contact them personally and let them know that it's changed.
Mm-hmm.
I've been already questioned by one of them. Have you changed it yet? Have you changed it yet? Not that I know of. I said no. But
Well, one thing that can also be said is by the 30th, we're going to have a better picture of also how Ford County situation is affecting us here. So,
let's address it in the next meeting.
right.
Okay.
I'll find out what Brown will charge us. Well, I'll try to anyways. We'll
Yeah.
see if I can get it on.
Anybody got anything for commissioner discussion?
What we're getting from the courts, just so you guys are aware from theirs, is they're pretty well mimicking the governor's stay-at-home orders. As she extends them, they extend theirs, and so we don't expect the courts to open until at the earliest, probably the end of the month, beginning of next month, and realistically, I think there's a good chance they'll extend beyond there. They're trying to come up with tech solutions for it. We'll see how that goes.
Well, then if somebody else, if somebody's got a reason, I'm gonna adjourn this meeting at 9:53.
Here are reports and minutes for you to sign.